Okay, welcome guys. Thank you for joining my webinar. Today is the 21st of April and today is the Wednesday midweek Bretton's midweek webinar. Okay, so you guys can hear me. Not really actually. We've got a lot of traders last night, 10 traders from South Africa, young ones. So I had to do a lot of coaching yesterday. They're trading stocks mainly. So I want to talk a little bit as well about what went on this week, following up from last week. Last week, basically, we have seen on the stock side of it, indexes, equities, and all that on the rise. But this week, when market opened, there's a significant drop. So loud and clear, brilliant, Alfred. Thank you. Morning. Okay, so yes, so it's a lot of catching up to do in terms of currencies trading, but we expect a lot of movement, a lot of volatility, but we want to be very careful with gold. I want to explain a little bit about gold at this moment of time as well, but I like to do a little bit of an intermarket analysis on Wednesdays. Wednesdays meaning to actually go over the four asset classes that are interrelated and correlated to actually give us a little bit of an idea what basically to trade and not to trade or to stay away in a way. Even though the four asset classes are actually connected, they are giving us a lot of hints. So the four asset classes that is categorized under intermarket analysis are stocks, commodities, currencies, and bonds. Okay, so these four. Now the whole world right now, especially the finance and economic world, it's governed by these four assets at this moment of time. And then it's actually been pulled with the strings of all four classes by the central banks as well as the governments. So this is what they're actually doing, pulling the strings and all that to balance things up economically and financially, mainly because of COVID reasons. So now we've got a little bit of an emergency sort of scenario in various countries. Number one is Tokyo now have actually just released an emergency sort of pandemic type alert, basically. I think the third wave or something like that in Tokyo, in Osaka, and another city. So this might then impact the bond situation, the stocks market of Asia in general, as well as currencies. Okay, so I want us to be quite careful with knowing how to correlate things, because nowadays things have actually changed in terms of the correlation between the dollar and the gold. So a lot of traders have actually asked me, whether or not we can actually go into gold maybe going up, things like that. Yes and no. Gold can actually go up and usually goes up, right, because of the current because of crisis or anything that would trigger traders to actually go into safe havens. But nowadays, as I've mentioned many times over this year especially, things have actually changed in terms of the correlation between gold and the US dollar, especially when there is a crisis happening. So nowadays, because of the COVID situation, and the rise in COVID cases have actually increased the demand for US dollar, not gold, you see. So it has increased the demand for US dollar as the safe haven governing, especially when it's triggered by the COVID cases. So at the moment, I just want to show you guys a little bit of intermarket analysis, but the results of what has actually happened this week. Now, this week, as of Monday, everything has actually changed in terms of how the S&P 500, the Dow Jones Index, the NASDAQ as well, they've all actually dropped at the beginning of this week. So they dropped significantly large. So the Dow Jones, for example, dropped about, as of Tuesday, I think, or late Monday, dropped about 250 points. That's 0.8%. So that's a very big drop. And then S&P 500, basically largest drop since March 23rd, 0.7%. Then you've got NASDAQ, 0.9%. So they've got various reasons. And number one reason is the COVID situation. And then now, secondly, the investors are actually feeling like they've been lied to in a way, for all the positivity of everything that is in the US. So they are beginning to question on the real economic growth of the US, and various other things are starting to pop up. Now, with what is popping up, basically there's some cases going on as well with US and another pharmaceutical company. So maybe they are thinking of suing that company for some patent thing. They would get about 1 billion if the US sues that pharmaceutical company. Then we have got Johnson and Johnson, Pfizer. They are all actually increasing the vaccinations, and then things are going great on that side of it. But there is maybe a cover story of why things need to look very bad on the COVID side to increase the shares, to increase the participation of shares and new investors into all these pharmaceutical company, because it looks like there is a game playing on as well. But we don't really need to focus on the games. We need to focus on where the transference of wealth is. Is it into currencies? Which currencies? Is it out of gold? Then we have to leave gold for a bit. It is showing a lot of, it is showing some increment, but very, very little constipated type increment in gold prices at the moment. But it's not showing, it may be a trick again, because it's actually approaching some relevant resistance as well. So we want to take a look at that. It is actually increasing. As you can see, it's on the daily chart. It's playing at 1786 at the moment for gold, but because of the current scenario, I am avoiding gold at this moment of time, because we have got GBP numbers today as well as Canadian numbers. But then we've got a lot of expectation on positivity for the Canadian numbers and the Canadian economy and various other things. So that would actually increase oil prices as well. Then it might actually then need to balance up with what's going on in the US. So if US is dealing with a global pandemic of COVID-19, then it will start to act as a safe haven as well. Then it might drop everything in gold prices. So hence the reason. And the other thing, technically as well, it is still blocked by the 100 and the 200 exponential moving average. So I am not really encouraging any participation in gold trading, especially for traders, even though you are looking at some movements and then it might look like this, it might look like bullishness, it might look like you can buy. You can actually do that, but it's at your own risk, because anything can happen at any moment of time, but with large movement. And that is what we don't want to get stopped out with, large movements, and then you reduce your equity level. That's why I'm not advising on participating into gold at the moment, because it has the tendency at this moment of time to trick you into wanting, or tempt you to wanting to trade and get into gold. But it's not the timing. I know it's traditional education as well of traders has always been, okay, if something happens, go into safe havens, and one of the safe haven is gold. But now the dynamic has changed. We've got other safe havens that would actually dominate gold and would actually control gold and be more on the buying side, like US dollar for now, because of the change in the COVID, change by the COVID situation. Okay, so I hope that's clear. Okay, I just want to warn you guys a little bit about gold, not to get overly excited, because you've got lots of other pairs that we can actually go into, and we can see a lot of volatility. For example, GBP AUD. Previously, it was a very nice downward pattern, geometric pattern, and we were trading from the centroid down. So that's 300, I think 200 plus, almost 300 pips there. And then we ridden all these price action based trade idea yesterday, 90 pip pips gained on that, on the black area right there. So 30 pips at a time. So all these ones are mainly based on price action. There was no pattern here on GBP AUD, but that actually started on Monday itself. Then Tuesday hit all TPs here yesterday, and basically it was a good run of things. And this shows me that you have got opportunities. You've got lots of opportunities of volatility in currencies, especially with GBP and Canada. Now today we have got the, what do you call that, data releases. I think data releases concerning mainly the UK. They are high impact data releases. So mainly for the UK and Canada's inflation, also Bank of Canada rate decision. We've got loads of data concerning GBP and Canada on the high impact category. Okay, so this is important for us to know. Also, because it was earnings week this week and yesterday, a lot of people, a lot of traders talking about Netflix as well. Now Netflix has been expected to be up, but then it dropped 10%. So there's a lot of surprises and beating a lot of investors' expectation for a lot of stock prices as well. So there's a lot of the way I look at it, a lot of transference of wealth. That's why we want to link up bonds with stocks, with commodities, with currencies, and look at where the transfer is going to come out from. So now obviously it's coming out from bonds and stocks. The people are selling off on that side of it. So my guess is it's going to be transferring into not commodities, but commodity currencies as well as other currencies, mainly US dollar. I think it's going to go into the rise up of US dollar. I think we will experience fall of gold again, but then commodity currencies, Australian dollar, Canadian dollar, New Zealand dollar, versus not versus the dollar, but all the crosses without the dollar might actually do much better. As you can see, GBP AUD did quite well with that. We've also got, I've also parked pending orders on CHF JPY for our members at Bretton Academy. So here we have got, it's parked on the upside, but of course, you've got all these fall and things like that. But I see that it might actually create really huge impact, meaning very powerful candles, bullish mother candles like what we have seen here. Now, the reason for all these that actually managed to happen with a lot of force to just hit through 90 pips in one day. Is that a matter of 2 hours or 3 hours only? I think it actually hit 90 pips right here and hit all TPs is mainly when we look to the left as well. I did circle onto the screenshot three what you call that major mother candles, especially this one here. So we need to look at the recent ones, and here we can see we've got the support of bullish single mother candle going through. So this one here was the main one that I've eyed on, and then we have seen that okay, it's been supported by other buyers as well with a single mother candle, and that is how this actually happened as well. And this usually happen from a significant drop as well, and so that drop basically supported that change of trend going upwards, and then that upward momentum has been supported by buyers in the past, reflected by single bullish mother candle. So this is what we want to look at, and I have spotted that we have got that as well in CHF JPY in the past, but then it needs to be looked at from very high time frames. Okay, so we've got something there, and the thing about CHF JPY as well, we have that single. We don't have very recent mother candle, bullish mother candle, but we've got the one that's been very, very popular at some point of time in the past. That was specifically 2015 moves, right? So that was actually the latest big ones. But recent ones, yes, we do have some there as well, mother candles, but not as many. But because of this fundamental support, that might actually happen with the BOC interest rate, all positive for the Canadian dollar. I expect that we might be able to see the movement to actually start. Hence the reason I've actually parked the buy for CHF JPY only at the 119.10, just to give it a little bit of room and to have some assurance, because it will be driven by Bank of Canada's interest rate decision, and then all the other news about its economy, and everything will start to pick up. Then also because it's a commodity currency related to oil, and oil's bad news is beginning to fade, because it dropped already because of the supply. They found a surprise in its stockpile. So that news has also faded away, which is really good. So then we have got room for it to become a little bit positive, and with hopefully with all the positive figures that we will be expecting from Canada, would actually not make that fall further. If it does actually make that fall further, and then the whole what do you call that, trend may be changed. Let's say we are expecting a kind of surprise attack for Canada. Let's say this whole pattern fails, right? Then it comes under the B point right here, and then starting to fall even more. Let's say going under the 117.80 and under, or even 117.50 and under, then we can ride the downtrend following this recent candle here. So this is the backup kind of plan. So hence the reason I wanted to give more room for us all to actually participate in the buy, only if it is certain enough with a big break upwards with a single bullish candle, let's say, and then it gives us, then it comes back down, then it wouldn't come back down too much, and then we can take that buy at 11910. I know it's a little bit far, but because of the impact, it might actually do what the GBP AUD have actually done, because we were not participating in the buy as well, quite far down here, you see, but then you see the push actually went up. And that was also economically driven. Economic driven, and that was more data driven, economic data driven. Okay, so this is what we will most probably expect from the CHF JPY. So you guys have already parked that pending order. You've got 30 pips up as well, up there, but it doesn't really matter, because here we are not, we shouldn't actually be stressed out whether or not it'll trigger the buy or not. If it doesn't trigger the buy, and then it continues to come down for some reason, then we will act into your alternative plan of selling instead of buying, and then we will look into patterns and all the single mother candles as well, and find fundamentals that are putting the prices and not pushing the prices. So we need to be adaptable to the market. Okay, so with CHF JPY GBP AUD, I want to go back to gold a little bit so that we can cover what's going on with gold. Before that, let me just check. I've covered most of the things here. Okay, good. All right. I think with what has actually gone on with the fall of NASDAQ and all that, that's why the Asian stocks are also suffering. Usually, you know, it carries forward some of the things that happen in Wall Street, then it gets absorbed into the Asian markets. Then you will see the Asian market stocks as well will start falling and things like that. Okay, all right. So let's take a look at gold, and I'm going to zoom. Oh, sorry. Trigger floating. Okay, AUD CHF. We'll take a look at AUD CHF as well. Okay, no problem. Before that, maybe, yeah, you reminded me on just looking at the heat map right there. Give me a second. Okay. What has actually happened as of now, both Asian session, European session. If we start off with the USD itself, you can see that it's on the downside, right? Meaning bearishness has picked up as well. We've got shorter bearish bars for the USD here. Let's say USD CAD. And then when it came into the European session or even the UK session right now, that USD has actually increased its bearishness. Okay, so it's a little bit games that are played at the moment in the market. So we need that to sort of settle down a little bit. Now I'm at 9:33 a.m. here, so maybe 1-2 hours ahead. Sorry, 1-2 hours ahead of the UK. So they're a little bit early, 1 hour before they really get into the market as well. So in London. Here we can see that the euro participation for the sell has been quite strong. There's a lot of euro participation in selling. Okay, AUD, for example, like AUD CHF and various others. As you can see, it this is for no, not there. There you go. It's more active and a lot more during the Asian session, but right now it looks like it's got mixed sentiments. Okay, it's mixed up here, and the bars are not very strong as well. So let's get to the let's get here and let's look at market on the currency heat map. The heat map on Action Forex, for example, is not giving us very clear, nice dark blue, dark red columns at the moment, but we do have biasness on the upside for certain pairs like the JPY, for example. It's mixed now. It's not as strong of buying and all that kind of thing. But my guess is for JPY, because it's got this, what do you call that, lockdown and things like that. Now, be very, very careful with JPY, okay? Because the whole idea about crisis happening in Japan is an inverse relationship, doesn't work like other countries, okay? Meaning, if there is a crisis in Japan, usually including the big flood caused by the earthquake and volcanoes and all kind of stuff that Japan goes through. Usually when bad things happen, their currency goes up because they start selling their assets, because the way the Japan works is that they've got loads of investment outside of Japan, including the US, Europe, everywhere, right? Including Singapore as well. We've got the Takashimaya and all that. So they will start to sell the shares of their overseas investments, and then the money would actually flow in to Japan. So we want to be very careful with Japan, actually, not to make the assumption that, okay, they have a lockdown in Tokyo and all that, so Japanese yen will start falling. There will be some pairs that the yen will start falling, but then it doesn't mean all of yen start falling. So you be very, very careful with this, okay? So that's why we want to also do a bit of an analysis here, together with an analysis, another trend analysis onto your chart, very, very important. And then study the candles behavior, as well as looking at past price action to look at whether or not we've got patterns. So here it's not looking really nice and clear, right? So if we go on to action buys as well, okay, not very nice and clear as well. We've got the only one that has got 3 time frame consecutively is your AUD CHF, which is on the downside. So yes, let's take a look at that. Give me a second. AUD CHF, it's another one that we need to look at before we go on to gold. Let's just start off with AUD CHF first. Okay, so it has definitely gone down a lot more. Let's see. Okay, the AUD CHF, Alfred, is for the sell or for the buy? For the sell, I would presume, right? Or not? For the buy, okay. If it is for the buy, if it is actually still on the very low end of your floating, just close it. Just close it for now, mainly because we want to right along some big moves as of today, especially with what's going on in the economic calendar. So we're expecting quite a number of good moves, especially with GBP crosses and Canadian crosses. As you guys can see, you've got all these red bars For GBP, we've got the Governor Bailey's speech as well, but we've got very strong expected data from Canada, and it's CPI mixed with the bank policy statement with interest rate. So it's got a very good mix of it. But so far, it is expected to be positive, and a lot of positive news coming up from Canada as well at the moment. But we still cannot guarantee that, we cannot say that it will definitely rise up the Canadian dollar for all the crosses. No, we cannot say that, but we can actually take a look and plan ahead. Now, for AUD-CHF, what I can actually see is that it has blocked the upward movement entirely. Now it's confirmed that it's blocked it already at the top. So this is from the daily chart. It is still on the upside, yes, okay, still on the upside, but didn't really follow through with the weekly chart. So the weekly chart is actually a reflection of the daily chart, and the daily chart reflection of the 4-hour chart. So then we can see that maybe, not maybe, but most probably it is on a corrective move at this moment of time. But what I can see is that suddenly it's got what do you call that, lower highs right here. So this lower high is being blocked by this. I would forget about the buy at this moment of time, and I want to look at the potential sell, short-term sell as well. Basically, you've got this area right here, and this area. You've got this area that has been encouraged by this single mother candle. We don't look at this single mother candle anymore. We look at this one here. Okay, so this one here has been the most recent as the eye could actually see, with a bearish mother candle. Now, what's happening though, if this one continues to come downwards, we don't only look at that bearish candle and that bullish candle, we look at this bullish candle as well, which basically means that the fall might stop a little bit sooner, might. Okay, so you want to actually be sure to exit at 7030. So if you're looking into a sell could potentially be benefiting you about 20 to 30 pips. So if you sell now, let's say, then you're looking at take profit at 7030 for AUD-CHF. So we change our plan a little bit. From the buy, you close your order right there, you close your loss, close in loss. Hopefully it's not more than $30 loss there. Okay. Okay. Yes, just send a message on the BKFX BKFX at the moment. I will also help you send that message by WhatsApp. But yeah, 76. You can still close it. It's probably better to close that there under the $100. So yeah, close that. Let me also message Pivos. In a second. I'm just messaging him as well. Okay, that's message gone through, hopefully, and you can also message him directly, Alfred. Okay, good. All right, they'll sort it out. Don't worry, they'll sort it out. And you can tell him as well that you've been trying for the past 5 minutes to close it, so they can take it back to that 5 minutes at least. Okay. All right. Okay, so we're still on the AUD-CHF. So like I've mentioned, I think you've got more room for the downward type movement at this moment of time, but it's limited as well, as we can see following the price action right there. Now, if we were to draw a pattern, I think this one here following Fibonacci, if this were to be your A right here, then your B is at 78.6, which is a very good ratio. If the downtrend were to persist, then it may actually cross over a little bit under here, but whether or not it's worth for us to take it right under here, in my opinion, it's risky. So whatever it is, we want to respect the movement of a single bearish market candle like the one that we have here, and to actually exit at this area here and not let price go down too much. Okay, so we can at least take that 30 plus pips or so. So if you're trading at your $2, let's say, Alfred, per pip, then you're looking at covering that a little bit, based on the 30 pips movement right here. I think it's about 30 pips if I'm not mistaken. Slightly more, yeah. So more than 30 pips right there. So if you look at selling there, then 35 to 37 pips right there. But you want to exit at 70. You can make that at 70.28 to exit, or 70.29, doesn't matter, but 70.30 is usually the area, but 70.28. Okay, that's the opening price of this mother candle right here, because we want to look at this. This was a good movement to the upside, so hence the reason you want to have some respect on to this mother candle, this bullish mother candle as well. So I don't want it to leave it until right down there. Just want to catch up a little bit for the loss that we've made on the AUDCHF buy side of it, because I needed some time to confirm as well, to look at whether or not this whole block here is really that strong. So if it is, then we might even look at more selling pressure after it has actually gone down, but that we need to wait and see, because we do have some nice mother candle that started here, for example. Then you've got one right there as well in the past, and then more in that zone where the price is. So most of the mother candle that you can see are all lined up almost at the same area, which basically means it's very close to the D point that we have drawn the pattern for, you see. So the pattern, let's see. Okay, so here, for example, this is with on the daily chart. Then you do it like this, and then there. Let's see, we take it like this. Okay, so this ABCD pattern, the C point is quite a nice one. So I'm in the process of creating the course on the geometric pattern as well for the members in the subscription package. So I'm just brushing up more of that. So it will be very clear videos that the members will actually get on the geometric pattern side of it. So you will get all the details, the ratio, and how you trade the pattern. And that's basically it. So yeah, it's already past that centroid area right there as well, and we're looking at D point there. But my advice is to look at your shortest term to cover your buy loss of your AUDCHF. Then you can actually sell that. That would actually be close to 40 pips, but I would think about 30 pips or so could actually be covered. And then you want to increase a little bit your lot size, maybe $2 per lot, just to see whether we can have that covered right there as well. So not $3, but maybe $2. Okay, so we can see at the $60 plus. So you will still end up losing maybe, but end up losing 10. If this one hits your TP, then you're making about 30 plus pips, let's say, then you'll still be at loss, but then at $10 to $15, because you lost $75, but then can get that covered at 60 or so, because we want to reserve your capital for the other trading opportunities that we might have coming. So we are looking at loads of market now picking up, especially currencies, different currencies. We can see that the mother candles and all that are starting to move. We have seen breakout, like for example, the Euro JPY already broken up here, came down here, and we are waiting for it there, and then further downside possibly, but let's plan on some. As I've mentioned already, you can enter right now, yeah, because it's already passed. Yeah, it's already passed. That's AUDCHF, right, Alfred? Yeah, it's entering now. If I've not mentioned the price to enter, that means if we're talking about live market, then you're entering right now. Yeah, it's not the ideal price for entry, but we don't have much of a choice now. It's already moved. So it's gone down more, but usually 7060 will probably be better. But looking at how it has actually moved and how all these areas been pumped up here, then you want to actually take that selling right now, and then you want to do the 7028, also 7030, entirely up to yourself as your take profit. Also your stop loss, make sure, because it is at 30 pips or so, you want to double that, 60 to 70 pips, take profit. Okay, sorry, stop loss. All right. Okay, I will also mention it to Piros. Okay, already mentioned. They'll fix it for you. Okay. Okay. So all the other accounts as well. All right. Okay, let me check that. Okay. Yeah, we want to talk only about live account demo. Is, even if it doesn't happen, it doesn't impact us, right? So live account. So yeah, I've already sent that urgent request as well. So they're looking into it. I'm not sure myself why it shouldn't actually happen, but things can actually happen sometimes. But the most important is we have that sorted out. Okay, we have that sorted. Okay, so right, so you cannot open new trades as well, and you cannot close your trade. Is that what's going on? Yeah. Okay. All right. The head of dealings into it right now as well. So let's see. Sometimes it's the server as well. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Usually, if it's like all the transaction cannot be done, like open and close as well cannot be done, then it's got to do with some technical server thing. But if it is only one action, let's say you cannot close, for example, then it's most probably something else. It's not the server. So here it looks like the server thing, because I did go through that last week with one trade, but it was a specific time in the morning. I think it was 6 o'clock in the morning here, my time. So I that got fixed actually, but that was also got to do with the server. But I'm not sure for this one. Okay. Yeah, it could be. It could be. You cannot enter AUD. Okay. Yeah, hopefully it gets, I think most probably will get sorted out, and then things would actually be repaired, okay, for you. So don't worry. Let's see how it happens. Okay, should be all right. Okay, so yeah, meantime, maybe this one is a little bit too late because of the current situation that we are doing. But on your other platforms, maybe Alfred, you can look into that selling right there for AUD CHF to cover it on the other side. Okay, that's why it's really important to have, I mean, in my opinion, to have platforms, or two or three at least, two or three reliable platform, because sometimes the platforms are reliable, but we cannot rely on 100% no technical issues, because will always get something. And sometimes, it gets affected by what's going on in the bigger worlds as well, because even Nasdaq has actually jammed up one whole day, has been closed down for 3 days even, so we can't. But Nasdaq is totally automated. So totally automated one does actually rely on the servers, you see. So your account, for example, at BKFX is directly associated to the liquidity provider. So there's no dealing desk, there's no manipulation of any sort. So that does actually make sense. When you cannot do anything, then it has to do with the server or the connection between the server in BKFX and the servers of the liquidity provider. So this is basically what usually happens. It can actually happen, but the most important as well is how it's getting resolved as well. If it is got to do with a market making model or broker, then there is almost no way for them to actually repair it, because the price actually comes into the broker, and the dealing desk, the people, human being, are the one who've actually been responsible for jamming up the system, or not making you click, all this kind of stuff. Okay, so this one here is not the case, so don't worry. Let's see. Okay, this is for AUDCHF. Let's see now. Yeah, because it is actually from, if you're talking about your orders basically are taken care of by the liquidity provider. So the liquidity provider, the relationship between BKFX and the banks are good. The banks that provide the liquidity. But then if you're talking about the local brokers in Malaysia or in Asia and they are market making, they simply wouldn't want to cover it because they don't have the agreement with the liquidity provider. So they would rather not give you back your money and not make you withdraw or find a lot of excuses. So that is what goes on. But in the relationship between in a ECN type account or model that you are in, that style of account, you are looking at more, the negotiation will take place between BKFX and the liquidity provider, and then BKFX will basically show, audit wise what has actually happened and stuff like that, records, print screen, all that. Then the liquidity provider will settle it with BKFX, and the BKFX will settle it with the trader. But for a market making one, there is no connection between the broker and the liquidity provider at that point. It's only between the broker and the trader. So it all depends on the broker. If they are guilty as charged for manipulating it, obviously they wouldn't want to give you back anything, or they wouldn't want to repair anything. They would actually give you a lot of excuses. They would just say other things, and all they want is more of your money to be pumped into the broker. That's it. That's the market making type model, because they make most of their money from your losses. So yeah, that's basically it. Not really. I mean, you've got not good market makers and good market makers. Good market makers basically usually they are in big brokers that have both market making account and also the ECN type account, and because they've got good relationship with the liquidity provider as well, they can negotiate even with their market making account with the liquidity provider. Okay, so that's why it's really important for you guys to understand that when your money goes out of Malaysia and goes into a broker in Europe, then the the whole process is governed by European law, even though the registered company entity that you are registered in is not European. Okay. All right. Good. Brilliant. They fixed it. Yeah. Perfect. Okay. Good. Let me just check confirmation as well. Okay. I've sent that confirmation to Piros as well. So yeah, they will take care of it even more. So they will contact you directly as well, Alfred. Okay, don't worry. Okay, so we've got that settled now. AUDCHF, we're still looking at. Let's see that there. Now, for the AUDCHF, another thing to also notice is that you've got a candle here that gives you a very high wick at the very top, and this is a good signal that price is finding it very difficult to go up. Okay, and then we've got all this block of zone here, which is good. So I think the further action plan for AUDCHF would most probably be heading to the downside as opposed to the upside, because at that time that I drew the pattern and looked at opportunity to the upside, it was closer to this area that might actually make the bounce following some bullish candle to the left. But then it didn't really happen that way. So the bears actually won the battle on that one. And I think they'll keep winning to the downside. So we want to look at each one pair as having a different personality. So we cannot say that, okay, AUD-CHF is on the downside, so all the AUD pairs on the downside. We can never do that, okay, because that would be very, very risky to do. Okay. AUD-CHF pending order at 0.70. You mean your sell price, right, Mr. Kunan? It has to be under 7,000 though, okay, because you need to adjust that with your psychological level just to make it a bit safer. Yeah, we never sell at round numbers. Yeah, we never sell at psychological level. We need to, if you are taking that, then it's 6,990 as your price. Yeah, okay, 7,000 is very risky price. Okay, got it. Hang, okay, yeah, that's fine. As long as it's not when your action of selling it or buying it, never on psychological levels. Okay, good. AUDJPY, Euro USD. Okay, let's see. I want to point out a couple of pairs. Let's say we want to go into some GBP pairs, okay? So GBP pairs, let's just go through one by one. We go on to Euro, Euro GBP, for example. Okay. Okay, so we are able to also look for some nice setup for GBP pairs, even though we have not seen a very clear trend, but then we can expect some movement for the short term. We can actually take it as well. Okay, then we can lay out some areas as well. GU, yes, Mr. Palani, how are you doing? Good to see you. Okay, so with GU, okay, with GU, we will take a look, definitely. I think we should take a look at the GU first, okay. Let's see. I'll replace this one, GBP USD. Okay, let's take a look at GBP USD, see what's going on. Okay, good. So we go on to the heat map first, just to get a bit of an idea of the current situation with GBP USD or GBP as a whole. Now, GBP, as we can see here, with GBP USD, it looks like it's picking up on the upside in terms of the trend for GBP USD, okay? But then all the others as well, it looks like it's picking up. But from all the GBP pairs, it looks like GBP USD is the strongest one on the upside at this moment of time. If we go on to here and just give it another sort of confirmation on the heat map right here, and then you want to go on to GBP USD, you can see that it's bullish as well here, and it's most bullish on the weekly chart. Okay, so what we do now is we want to confirm that trend as well, whether or not it is more on the bullish side or the bearish side. Now, in the 1 hour chart, very quickly, what we can see is it might actually, the price at the moment is at 3934. Okay, if it heads downwards, it would come down to the 3920 psychological number. So we have got 3920 psychological number on the downside, and then on the upside we have 3950 psychological number. Okay, so 3950. Okay, so there you go. So we've got 3950 psychological number on the upside. Now, at the moment, it looks like if at all it wants to go up, it needs to go up, pierce through the 3950 as well, but it may be respecting this mother candle right here. But this mother candle is only worth from the opening price of the body of the mother candle to the closing price of the body, it's only worth about 35 pips. So not much power on the 30 minutes chart, even though when we are looking at 1 hour chart, we need to go one time frame down as well. That means it's connected to the 30 minutes chart, right? Basically between 30 minutes to 1 hour, a very short period of time, it could go up, but it wouldn't go up too much for the GBP USD. It's currently trapped at the moment between 3950 and 3920. If we want to look at GBP USD having more power to go up, it needs to break out from the 3950 area, at least 3960. So what we need is we need to go to the daily chart, and then we can see the bigger picture. Okay, so with the bigger picture that we can actually see, we've got a single mother candle at the moment, but it will end, it can actually end at this area here, which is 3984, which is very close to 3980. So what it's telling us is that for the short term, as well, if GBP USD wants to go up, it can go up, but the limit is at anywhere between 3950 or 3980. So that basically means if maximum you want to make money on the buy side for GBP USD, don't get overexcited, but try to get out at least maximum at 3970. Okay, if you're buying now as well, maybe now not really ideal for the buy because it's reaching at the 3920. So if it's reaching at 3920, it might reverse very soon at the 3920 area. Okay, so once it reverses and then it goes back to 3930 onwards, then you can actually buy again. So you can enter a buy at 3930, and then you can actually take profit at 3970 if you've got a lot of movement of the price. But be careful with your stop loss as well, okay, because you are taking that 30 pips or 40 pips, then you want to double that for your stop loss, and your stop loss needs to be at least about 70 or 80 because of the average movement of GBP USD. If not, you get stopped out very easily. If you put your stop loss only at 30 pips or so for GBP USD, then it wouldn't be that good, only because we have too many data releases that are due today as well. So you will see, will kick up the movement of GBP USD quite a lot as well, because we've got loads of data concerning GBP today, okay, from the UK. So here now, if I were to just zoom out a little bit, I want to look at all the movement on the left side. Okay, so you can see that there's a lot of upward type movement, and then there's a limit here. Okay, so the limit of how far the price can actually go, as far as the eye can see, is at 1.41 area. So then you know, if you've got news coming up, you want to push it up, you'll push it up to that level first and then come back down and then push it up again. So then if we continue to zoom out a little bit on the daily chart, then you go to the left a little bit, or you go into the weekly chart, you zoom out, and then you can see again you've got another area of resistance, and that actually ended here. Okay, this as well. So you got resistance there, right? So you've got a line there at 4134 area. You can adjust the 4134 area as 4120. You know that's the psychological level there. Then you've got 4233. You can adjust that. We'll leave that one there. Okay, and 4120 there. Okay, so now we go back to the 4 hour, let's say, and you can see that it's been lined up a little bit better. Okay, we've also got this area here on the 4 hour chart. Okay, so now we have got some space to consider. Okay, so 3920 to 3950 price is now playing in between all this area. If it goes under 3920, let's say 3910 onwards and downwards, then the trend would actually be changing to the downside most probably. But we need to monitor and look at the news, because once it actually breaks out from 3920 and then it reaches 3910, then that can actually be your selling type price, because you have some bearish candle here, and this bearish candle body, the closing of the body can actually be your expected TP roughly, or you need to exit there. Okay, you have to exit there or exit a little bit earlier there. Okay, so 3959, so exactly 3860 exit for the sell side. If it is a sell type order, I would actually enter only at the start of this candle right here, the opening price, which is 3905. I would prefer 3890 to actually enter my sell. So let's see, 39, just to make sure whether or not it is that strong of a trend on the sell side, you see. So 3890, okay, there you go. I would prefer to take, if at all it's a sell, I would prefer to take it there. Now I will also put the no trading zone area here, so I don't trade here at all. Okay, and that is it. So the sell will only be from here starting. So that is just to give room for GBP USD on the buy side. The bias is to the buy side. The bias is not to the downside, but alternatively, if something happened in the market and then the buy didn't take place, no bullishness but bearishness, let's say something big happened, then you know you can actually trade on the downside as well. But at this space, 3890 sell, and then you want to take profit, maybe 3860, you got 30 pips there to make here. That is for the sell side if it does happen. On the buy side, we want to look at 3960 and above to actually sell, to actually buy, sorry. So 3960 is your buy price and 3990 is your take profit price. Okay, so you can actually start pending order maybe 3960 onwards, but you want to watch out as well, be really careful, because of the data would actually make the market move quite crazily as well. But we do have power. You have power here of previous mother candle, you have power here, another previous mother candle. So my guess is it's got a lot of power. You've got one mother candle here, you've got two actually here, second one, and then you've got third one. As far as the eyes can see, if you go a little bit more, maybe you will find again you've got another one here, the fourth one, then you've got the fifth one as well. They're all lined up in the same area, the mother candle for the buy. So my guess is 3960, 1.3960 you can buy, 1.3990 you can take profit. But you need your stop losses. That is about 30 pips profit potential, but you want your stop loss to actually be at least about 60 pips, 70, just to give it a bit of room in case. But my guess is that for GBP pairs, especially with GBP US dollar, because we're expecting more fall for the US dollar as well, then you might see big movement following a single mother candle, for example, pushing price through and stuff like that. But it's good for us to leave the market to play around this area like sideways or whatever until market open in the UK, until the news release, data releases for the economic calendar and all that start to happen. Then you will see the reaction of the buyers with a very strong candle, and maybe you will hit your TP of 30 pips in a very short period of time. So that is probably the best way for you guys to trade for today for GBP USD. Okay, is that clear, Mr. Palani? All good? Okay. All right. So let's see. Okay, that is for GBP USD. I'm going to lay that out here. What was the pair that we wanted to take a look at? Okay, good. So GU ADCHF already seen. Okay. Any other pairs, guys, that we want to take a look before we end the session as well? All good? So you've got that one there. GBP, we want to take a look at GBP pairs. Okay, so I want to look at Euro GBP as well. Let's look at it. At the moment, with the COVID situation, they are quite satisfied in the UK with the current vaccination, a couple of other things. But there are some questions in other areas, especially with the economic side of it, the impact of it. So it's about 50-50 at the moment. So we don't know whether it is strongly optimistic in the UK. It is leaning towards optimism, but not fully, okay, at the moment in the UK. All right. So with the daily chart, let's say in the Euro GBP at the moment, one thing to note as well is that because volatility is always the lifeblood of the Forex market and the Forex currency. So you want to look at, let's say if we are looking at GBP, right? We want to look at GBP versus which pair would actually be ideal or which pair would actually be most volatile. So GBP against, let's say, 4-hour and daily. We click on this one here, and then we take a look at this simple diagram just to give us a little bit of a guidance. So here it says that GBP versus CHF, because you can see on the daily chart, the purple one is the daily chart. Closest to the end would actually be CHF. So GBP CHF, we want to take a look as well and see how volatile because you want volatile pairs as well, but you want to trade it carefully, mainly because it's got a lot of movement, so it's got a lot of profit potential for us. So GBP CHF, so we go on GBP CHF here. Okay, so this is the one previously done on a shark type pattern, expecting it to the downside, but I want to get rid of this pattern at the moment because it was actually mentioned before as well. It's not a very nice, clear pattern, not a shark pattern with high probability because of the mechanics of how it's been formed. It's not that good as I expect it to be. So here we will take it from fresh and look at perhaps upward type movements for the GBP CHF, considering bullishness expectation, but we don't know that yet. We need to, because it is with a safe haven as well, like CHF, so it's a little bit risky, but let's look at it because it's giving us hints that it is highly volatile potentially, and with the economic data releases of the GBP, it will make it even more further volatile. So now on the 30 minutes chart, for example, shortest term, we can see that it's on a sideways type thing, awaiting breakout, most probably awaiting breakout. So we want to do a resistant type zone from the top here, but I want to pull this one down a little bit down here because I want to touch all the wicks here, okay? And then I will do another one at top following all this one here. So then I've got more touch points here. So I'm looking at a breakout because this one here is more like a triangular type not pattern, but a triangular type support resistance that we can actually draw. Okay, so you've got one line like this up there. So it needs to break downwards here, come down, go back up, then you've got further to the downside, right? Yeah, it does look like sideways, but I think it's on a waiting mode. They're waiting for all the data releases because if you go onto the economic calendar here, you can see that we've got a lot of high impact news going to be released today. Today is Wednesday, 21st. So we've got one here, for example, that is 8 o'clock already released. That was downside, okay, for the CPI was negative. Okay, but then we are awaiting the governor's speech as well, which is very high impact. And then GBP, yeah, we've got the governor's speech right there. So, and then that would also be moved by the Canadian dollar as well. So then we want to look at GBP CAD as well. Okay, so the way we can see for the GBP CHF, it looks like it has blocked a lot of direction to the upside. Okay, it's been caught up with the EMA line as well. Then we had this very big recent mother candle here. Okay, looking like it's quite strong. So in my guess, it will continue to come downwards for now, and this is short term. Okay, and then we can see, because it's reacting towards the data as well, which was negative. Okay, so then here I would think that it might push through more because it's got a block at the top, so resistance quite strong. And then if you look to the left, you've got mother candle right there. Okay, you've got mother candle there, but then this support here for you to watch out as well. But I would think that the support can actually be here as well, the end there, because this is a resistant area, and then you've got a support here. So this could be a potential support for this. But when we look at the price of that line I've just drawn, is at 2750. So 2752. So I want to adjust that to 2750. Basically, the psychological level has gone even stronger because of the area that is very close to the opening price of the single mother candle here. And then you've got the price fall right there. So previous support, resistance right there could be support. Previous support could be resistance. So that's basically it. So I'm thinking that if we want to look at more selling pressure or selling opportunity for GBP CHF, then it's probably better to look at under the 2750 area, so we can enter at 2740 if we want to do a pending order for a sell. Then that sell could then follow this mother candle right here, on the short term right there. So that one there is 2717, 2730. This too small. We can make only about 10 pips right there. So let's see. We can take a look at GBP JPY and GBP NZD as well. Yes, no problem. Okay, so here, for example, we have got that fall potentially there, but I like to look at bigger time frames as well, because when you see bigger time frame, you see bigger opportunities if the opportunities are there. So bigger time frame tells me that yes, you can expect a fall even more. And that support area right there looks very, very nice. So that means a fall there, you need to exit before that. And also a previous mother candle has finished there as well. And there's a lot of support here. Okay, so 26. So prices could fall to 2680 area, but 2690 or even 2710 to actually start to exit. 2710 would probably be better, because you want to pay some respect to that very, very, very important level of GBP, 2700 psychological level. Okay, so historically this is a very important area of support as well, at 2700 for the GBP CHF. Okay, so here you can see that it's quite nice, down before, up before with a single mother candle. Okay, whether they're bearish mother candle, bullish mother candle as well. So it tells you that this area or zone is a trading zone. It's a very nice trading zone. A lot of activities, a lot of strong activities and transaction can take place here. So the sell there would be quite nice under 2750, which is entry 2740 onwards, down to 2710. So let me adjust the price to 2710 as your take profit area. Okay. So there is a, let me just, this is no trading zone here. I'm just highlighting there. No trading zone there, and no trading zone as well, which is here roughly there. Okay, so you know that you are trading at the Black Sea area, and that Black Sea area is worth selling at 2740, buying at selling at 2740, and take profiting at 2710. So you're looking at about 30 pips or so. Okay, so it's slightly less as well with you minusing all the spreads and stuff like that. Okay, guys, so that is basically it. GBP CHF is clear, yeah. And stop loss, as you guys know, have to adjust it according to your risk appetite, and you need to double that. If it's 30 pips profit potential, you want at least 60, 70 pips. This is quite a volatile pair as well. Okay, GBP CHF. There you go. So this is your planning, your route planning of a sell. It's more biased to the sell side for GBP CHF at this moment of time. Buy price, buy onwards, we need to be a little bit careful and see whether or not price picks up. But at this moment of time, it looks like shorter, medium term, more bias to the downside. It's been blocked already, and the upside of the current price, okay, above the current price. So there you go. So you've got your area of trading there, GBP CHF. Okay, it's clear. All right. So now we go to GBP JPY. So GBP, that is, okay, so GBP JPY. GBP NZD, GBP JPY right there. Okay, so let's take a look. Now it's more or less the same. It's trapped in between all the three EMA lines as well. So it's a bit on a verge of a breakout potentially. We don't know that yet. This is on the 4-hour chart. Go on to your 1 hour. This GBP JPY we're looking at. Okay, so 150.42. Now on the downside, we're looking at let's say we go on the daily chart first. Okay, daily chart. Okay, let's see. Now, as far as the eye can see, with all these candles here as a referral point, to the downside, we can see that we have got this area here. Okay, we need to respect this area with all the wicks right here, and then it hits that wick right there as well. And then this area here as well. So now we've got a zone of support between 149.87 to 149.65. Okay, so this is on the downside. Now, but current price is 150.42 or something like that. Now, as it rises upwards, we can see a very clear area right here. Okay, area of resistance. Okay, but then as if it does actually go up a little bit, I think it will start to come down at this area here. This is a powerful resistant area with two candles, mother candle as well, opening price to come downwards. So hence the reason we see that at this moment of time, it is actually in a bit of a sideways type range. So I will do the non-trading zone area at the top here. Oh, sorry. That's your resistance zone. Okay. And then I will also change the color of the support zone to blue. Okay, so we take that and we bring that downwards here. So it's actually this whole area here that needs to be highlighted as a sort of significant type support. And this is GBP JPY on the daily chart. So as we have seen a very big push through with mother candles here, very powerful upwards, some more upwards here, and then some more upwards here, because it has gone down here, went up there. Now it's time for it to come down again and then play around here, get supported up, down, up, down. So there you go. So this is basically, if you are looking at trading at this moment of time, then you're looking at selling, I would think, from that area right there down to 149.90 or something like this. 149.90. Then you're looking at about close to 50 pips. I would think about 48 pips or so potential to the downside. But right now, it is not too bad a price to actually sell because it's 150 0.41 approaching 40. So usually you can sell at 150.40. So if you're selling, you can sell at if you're thinking of selling, sorry, 150.40, and then you want to take profit at 149.90. Okay, that's about 45, 48 pips there roughly. Okay, potential. So that's for GBP JPY. This is for the short term right now for a sell first, because it's playing about now, and that is basically your short term type trade. So it's not a trend trading type thing. It's just trading in a range at this moment of time. But the buyers, as far as we can see, starting from the 1 hour chart up to the 4 hour and then the daily, it looks like it wants to go up, but now it is actually just going through a bit of consolidation with downward pressure at this moment of time for GBP JPY. Okay, guys, hope that's clear on GBP JPY. Now we'll take a look at GBP and ZB, being the last pair that we'll take a look at for today. Okay, so GBP and ZB. Let's see whether or not it's almost the same. At a glance on the daily chart, it looks like, you've got the three lines like that. So it is, again, not showing very clear trend. But as of now, it looks like it's also pressured to the downside. You've got all these higher highs, higher lows as well. And then now you've got lower lows, lower highs, lower lows. You've got a lot of lower highs here. You need further lower lows right here. So in my guess, if at all it wants to be pushed downwards more, it will have this mother candle here to go down up to here. But then if you look to the left, you may have a bit of a limit right here, because this is a very strong support there, and it is exactly at 93.56, which is very close to the 50 psychological level as well. Okay, so I think it's probably best to wait on this one, not to actually trade GBP and ZB at all, because it's just too unpredictable at this moment of time. But what you can actually do though is, if we are looking at more pressure to the downside, you can actually take this as your potential A point, go down right here and look at this is very close to the 78.6, which is good. I think I can move this a little bit up to the week. All right, so it's quite close to the 78.6. So what you can do then as well is to just draw a pattern right here. This is for the downside, if you are expecting more downward pressure. So then here you can see that this is the expected downward movement target. And you want to draw this one here. So this is roughly your ABCD pattern right there. But as you draw this and look at your centroid by attaching your A point, right, down to your D point, your centroid also tells you that it's probably better to sell a little bit later. And that level there is very close to the 100 EMA. So usually, it might play around, come back down, and then start to reverse there as well. Only after it comes lower than that 100 EMA area, which is 9329. So if I take this support area here, this area is 9299. So I think it's, yeah, 9290 probably would be better for the sell to take place. So we need more time for GBP and ZD. It's not really a good timing at this moment of time. It's just, it might actually respect this area right here. If I go on to look for divergence to see whether we can have, whether we would be experiencing some reversal, all you need to do is go on to indicators, go on to your oscillator and go on to stochastics. Okay, then on your stochastic, you want to see whether you've got some form of divergence or not. So here it looks like, let me just check, no clear divergence, so maybe it might just pierce through much more, but we need that confirmation only after it goes under the 9356 or 9350 area and under. So I will mark that area that it needs to go under, then it actually gives us more 9350. So under 9350, like 9340 onwards, then you can see more pressure and expect more fall. Okay, good questions here. Yes, let's look at oil right now. I think that's clear, right? So GBP, NZD, GBP, JPY, we've covered. We'll take a look at oil. Yes. So oil, I've left all the range that we have actually talked about the last time, and it has respected it very well. It extended the sideway, went up a little bit, didn't go up too much, and then now start falling. So what's happening is that it looks like it has broken out, found support. Now it's actually returning to the point of breakout roughly there. So let's look at what could actually happen from here. If at all it goes upwards above 62.80, then it will play again into this zone, going up and then going down, going up, going down. Unless it goes up and pierce through this, then we see a little bit of upward movement. But if it does pierce through 63.80, you want to look at this level as well, whether or not it manages to pierce through the 64.00, $64 level as well. Then only then we can actually see upward type movement more. But at this moment of time, it looks like it's struggling, and what it might potentially do is go up here, make everybody believe that it's going up, and then go sideways here inside this zone again, repeat the whole story there again. Okay, so this is basically what I expect it to actually do for oil at this moment of time. So in terms of trading wise, if at all there is positivity in the market and encouraging people to buy, then you can actually buy from now on as well, or anytime you feel it's better, like 62.80 or so. But try to limit your buy and follow this mother candle as your reference point, and basically you need to exit if you can 63.30 at least, 63.30, 63.28 to actually exit in your buy order if you're planning to buy. Okay, but we've got support here as well, so that is good news. So it might look like it wants to take back its losses, because it's already dropped price quite a bit and experiencing a lot of losses. So it wants to pick up, but then that pickup should not make you overexcited in your buying, because you've got limited buy area, I think. So there you go. Okay, this is for oil, and this for 4-hour chart. Yeah, because then you can look at more buying only above 64.00, because you've got another mother candle right there. So not yet. So now you've got short-term buy, I think, at at the price that I've mentioned. And then once it broken out from 64.00, then another buying spree that you can actually expect to go upwards, and then you can take profit 66 or 65, 90, and that kind of price, or even up to the 66.00 area. But that is later on. Now it's limited. Okay, we need to look at what's going on. Okay, that's it, guys. Any other questions? You guys okay so far? All good? Okay, if no questions, I'll end the session for today. I want to thank everyone for attending my webinar. So recording will actually be posted into our Bretton YouTube channel. Okay, so there you go. All right, good. Take care, guys. Thank you so much. And we'll see you on Friday for the Friday market wrap up. Okay, bye-bye.